are these people?
To our first story, Boy Wonder.
Yes. So as I said earlier, those of you who may not know, right, this past weekend was Eid. You're probably wondering what is Eid. So, we are aware that many of you might not know what it is. The easiest way as I can describe it to you, think of it as like the Muslim version of Easter. For those of you who celebrate or are adjacent to that in the Christian faith, or Passover in the Jewish faith. So basically, this is the Muslim time of, of reflection and repentance in preparation.
End of Ramadan
for,
specifically, right? So,
right. So it's kind of like how,
like Mardi Gras, but after Lent. So,
well, I would
theoretically,
argue it's like Lent. It is like Lent.
Well,
in that regard. Probably
Ramadan would be, end would be the
Ramadan,
ending of the fasting and the charity and the, all that jazz.
So in prepping for this segment, Reef was like, I don't know a lot about Eid, and I don't think a lot of our audience would neither. So,
no.
And I said, you're right. So we're actually going to go into that now, just kind of giving you a description of what Eid is. And who better than to tell you what Eid is by a bunch of kids?
Yay!
So I'm always a fan of students advocating for themselves and advocating, like different things in terms of learning more about their world. So they will tell you more about Eid and Ramadan and the significance of it. So here.
Hi BTN, my name is Joseph.
And I'm Afsa.
I'm Faisa.
And I'm Khadija. Today we're going to be teaching you about Ramadan and Eid.
Ramadan is a special time in the Islamic calendar.
Islam is the world's second largest religion with 1.8 billion followers around the globe. Those who follow Islam are called Muslims.
There are 5 pillars of Islam, which are rules Muslims follow.
They are trusting and understanding the Shahada, or the declaration of faith.
Prayer 5 times a day.
Giving money to charity.
Participating in Hajj at least once in a lifetime, which is a pilgrimage to a place called Mecca.
And fasting during the holy month of Ramadan.
Ramadan is a month in Islam where people from all around the world fast for a whole month.
Of course, having no food or water for a whole month is impossible.
Actually, we have a meal before dawn. It is called Sahur.
Iftar.
So we can get ready to fast.
And then after a long day of fasting, we share an evening meal, which is called Iftar.
When I first started, it was very hard, but then like a couple of days after, it got very easy because I obviously got more patient and I got stronger.
The hardest day in Ramadan is when people eat in front of your face, like your siblings, and you just feel tempted to eat with them, like those delicious food that your parents are cooking for your little siblings, and you just have to stay strong.
But it is meant to be challenging, and it is really important for the Muslim community.
Of course, not everyone has to fast. People who are sick, pregnant, elderly, or young don't have to take part of it.
During Ramadan, it's important for us to focus on stuff like praying, or reading our religious book called Quran, and also helping those in need.
When the month wraps up, we celebrate with a big party called Eid.
The best part about Eid is enjoying the reward for all the hard work during Ramadan.
We go and pray in the morning, and then after that we eat some food, talk about how it was, and we just have fun.
And of course, there's plenty of sweets.
My favorite thing about Eid is receiving gifts and giving them back to the little kids.
The thing that I really like about Eid is when you meet your relatives and friends that you didn't meet in a long time because they live far away.
It's not just for Muslims either. There are big celebrations all over the world and everyone is invited.
Goat!
Thanks for letting us teach you about our religion.
Right, back to you, Amelia.
Bye!
Bye-bye! Bye-bye!
So that's Eid and Ramadan. So as they said, it's a month that they fast. And shout out to those kids I know just personally. Obviously, if you're young, you're not required to, but I know some students at my school did. So we had to make accommodations for them, during lunchtime so that they're not tempted or feeling hungry while, everyone else is eating. So, yeah, just giving you guys a little quick info regarding Ramadan and Eid. So this is, as I said, this is what was celebrated. Eid was celebrated this past weekend, and what their fasting period for the past month. So now that you know about Eid and Ramadan, we're going to get a little more, unfortunately, diabolical in terms of shifting that over to Gaza. You brought this clip from the Quds News Network. So this is children who are celebrating Eid in Gaza over this past weekend, I guess. So if you want to play this clip.
Nice. Yay, music that probably is hopefully not copyright. But yeah, I mean, it's just a shame that this is how they have to celebrate, when there's like not much to celebrate there,
Right. Well, you brought this up.
Nope. This one?
Yeah. So you brought this up on Twitter where you said, what do you say when F Israel isn't enough? So you retweeted this from Gaza Medic Voices.
Yeah.
Where a volunteer doctor, I guess this looks like Instagram.
Yeah.
Who said, spent the entire morning and afternoon cutting brand new Eid clothes off dead children. So
shout out to the medical staffs that have been diligently working over there,
Right.
So
as I said, this is a time, should be a time of celebration for the Muslim community, but especially in Gaza, what's happening right now, given that the ceasefire ended, it's really hard to celebrate right now. So this is a news report from WION. They're going to report on the reality of what's happening in Gaza right now during what should be a celebratory time. So go ahead.
Now, thousands of Gazans are preparing to celebrate Eid al-Fitr under the shadow of ongoing war for the second consecutive year. The Israeli military resumed its aerial bombardment of Gaza on March 18th, following a nearly 2-month truce, resulting in significant casualties. And according to Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry, at least 921 people have been killed since the resumption of hostilities. The overall death toll in Gaza has risen over 50,000.
We now live in the unknown soldier area, City Square in Gaza City. Before the war, we used to come here to play and buy clothes. But now, the place has been destroyed by tanks and missiles, leaving behind huge craters. The entire square has turned into war debris. The area is in ruins, and there is nothing left. Before the war, we would come here to buy clothes and necessities.
And the mood in Gaza is somber as families grapple with loss and displacement. Many are living in makeshift tents and struggling to find joy in what is traditionally a festive time marking the end of Ramzan. The streets, usually vibrant with decorations and bustling markets, are eerily quiet, showcasing the devastation wrought by the ongoing violence. Meanwhile, displaced women in Jabalia are attempting to maintain some semblance of tradition by making cookies for Eid.
We wanted to make the children happy on Eid by baking cookies. Even though we don't have a home and we are living in a tent and our circumstances are difficult, but we want to make the children happy.
The economic situation in Gaza is dire. The Palestinian Authority is unable to pay salaries to its employees due to Israel withholding tax revenue since 2019. This financial strain has severely impacted local markets ahead of Eid, traditionally a peak shopping season. Now, with soaring prices and limited access to goods due to the blockade, many families are prioritizing survival over celebration. Reports indicate that food prices have skyrocketed by more than 100 times due to border closures.
I did not buy anything for myself, my sons or my daughters, because the situation we are going through is very difficult. People in this period of Eid usually buy clothes, they buy sweets, they buy cakes, they buy mamoul type of pastry, and enjoy themselves. But this holiday there is nothing. Our situation is difficult. Our circumstances are difficult.
Israel has cut off all food, fuel, medicine, and other supplies to Gaza's roughly 2 million people. The United Nations has reported that no humanitarian aid has entered Gaza for over 3 weeks, marking the longest stretch without assistance since the conflict escalated.
Which no one's talking about, but we're going to in segments in future.
Now, thousands of Gazans are preparing.
No. Next. There you go.
So, just to bring it down a little bit, going to speak on the reality of what's happening. Well, you saw it, but this is an op-ed written by Shahad Alil from Truthout, where he writes, "This Eid was supposed to be a moment of respite, not another day of mourning. Last Eid in Gaza was overshadowed by destruction, heavy bombardment, and bloodshed. I hoped this Eid wouldn't be too." So he writes, Eid al-Fitr, which marks the end of Ramadan, was once eagerly awaited in Gaza, a rare occasion that brought a sense of joy and normalcy. Its preparations began days in advance. Homes were cleaned, a fresh touch of decoration was added, and families made sure everything was in place for the celebration. Parents saved up to buy new clothes for their children, knowing how much it meant to them to dress well on Eid. The streets stayed lively late into the night, filled with people shopping for last-minute essentials. Bakers worked tirelessly, filling the air with the sedza ka'al, the traditional date-stuffed cookies, alongside trays of chocolate and vanilla biscuits, simple treats that would soon be shared over coffee with guests. Shops displayed an array of high-quality chocolates, candies, halkoum, Turkish delight, and roasted nuts, small luxuries that made Eid feel complete.
Yeah. Which dates in and of themselves, they're like they're normally not put in stuff. Like they are, but like that's special to do because dates are already pretty fantastic. You know? So, but continue.
On the first morning of Eid, we would wake up early, dress in our best clothes, and make way to the mosque for the Eid prayer. There, we exchange greetings, smiles, and handshakes, a heartfelt tradition that carried deep meaning, reminding us that Eid is about togetherness. The Takbirat, the chants of Allahu Kabar, recited on Eid, filled the air, creating a familiar rhythm that made the day feel different, wrapped in a quiet sense of spiritual peace. After the Eid prayer, we would head home to prepare breakfast. Breakfast was always special, made exclusively for Eid al-Fitr. It included fakish, ashish, a fermented, salted, and dry fish with a bold, briny flavor, along with salad dressed in tahini sauce and tomatoes fried in olive oil.
So
People
like
in Gaza
saltfish,
eagerly awaited Eid. Yeah.
But also fermented. So like more like anchovies, I would bet.
Probably.
Yeah. Something like that. Depends on
people
how
in Gaza
fermented.
eagerly awaited
Eid
al-Fitr, especially for this breakfast, rich with diverse flavors. What made this breakfast even more special was the gathering of families around the table where we would laugh, share stories, and savor every bite together. There we go. Then came the time to select and dress in special clothes for Eid, preparing to welcome arriving guests, including relatives and friends who came to share in this joyful occasion. Children loved this part the most. You could see little girls in colorful dresses, their hair adorned with bright accessories, and boys in suit and ties applying perfume. Their new outfits brought an extra spark of happiness to their faces as they eagerly headed out with their edijah, gift money, to buy delicious snacks and toys from the market. Despite the strict siege imposed on Gaza for over 15 years, we continue to find simple ways to enjoy such a special occasion. However, the Israeli occupation hadn't even made the slightest attempt to create a fleeting sense of happiness in Gaza, a luxury we can no longer afford. Last Eid came amid war and starvation, stripping us of our cherished Eid traditions. We had no chance to bake ka'al, savor the taste of chocolate, or prepare the beloved Eid breakfast we once enjoyed along with our loved ones. Last Eid felt empty, as many had lost their homes and their loved ones, the very ones who made Eids meaningful. Personally, I lost my mother due to the Israeli military invasion of Al-Qaitun neighborhood, and my grandmother to starvation and a lack of medical care. I still remember how my family and I were forced to evacuate under heavy bombardment just a few days before Eid, ending up in a UN school turned shelter for displaced families. We carry deep sadness and despair in our hearts, reminiscing about the beauty of Eid in times of peace when we were surrounded by our loved ones. Children didn't wear new, elegant clothes for Eid, nor did they enjoy buying toys and sweets. In fact, some were terrified of going out because of the Israeli bombardment, while others were busy filling their water gallons or getting food from charity kitchens. My 7-year-old cousin, Hanin, cried a lot as the Israeli forces burned all her colorful fluffy dresses, the ones she loved to wear on Eid, during a military operation in Al-Qaitun neighborhood. I don't have any beautiful clothes for Eid. I don't love Eid anymore, she said. Last Eid lost its joy, overshadowed by destruction, heavy bombardment, and bloodshed. However, with the ceasefire taking effect in January 2025, people in Gaza clung to the hope that the war would not return. They held onto the belief that the ceasefire would last, offering them a chance to revive some of the Eid pleasures they had been deprived of for so long. Some even began planning for things they hoped to do on this Eid. However, our simple plans to live in peace and revive some of the Eid traditions we love was shattered by the unannounced heavy bombardment on March 18th. The ceasefire, which had given us a fleeting chance to dream and plan amid the pain and suffering, has ended, and the war has returned. The people in Gaza are now living in a state of shock and fear. We've had enough of wars. Even now, it is hard to believe that this Eid, the one we clung to, eagerly awaited and planned for, will be just like the previous one. Most people have forgotten their Eid plans, consumed by worry about what they will do if they were forced to evacuate to the south again, how they will survive if their stored food runs out, and what will happen if the blockade that prevents humanitarian aid from entering the Strip continues. The thought of reliving the horrors of the past 15 months erases their excitement for this Eid. So to conclude, oh wait, did I? Oh, I missed.
Yeah, you skipped one. If you want to head back one.
Yeah.
There it is.
This Eid was supposed to be a moment of respite, a chance to reclaim even the smallest fragment of happiness. Instead, it has become another day of mourning, another day that in Gaza, not even our dreams are safe. So to end, you got this for me from Alon Mizrahi,
Yep.
who tweeted, I want to curse with all my might the people who will not even try to save these beautiful kids from bombings and starvation, to not harm their careers or public image. So just wanted to share that, just to kind of bring it the reality of, you know, by extension, probably the Muslim community who are feeling away.
Yep.
Even they might be in a safe place in this country.
Well, and like,
that they're able to celebrate Eid, but thinking
you
about
got Syria right now too, going through the same stuff. You've got parts of Lebanon, and you know, there's a whole group of, you know, Islamic countries that are feeling the hurt through their holidays. So, you know,
so yeah, just wanted to bring that reality home that this is what many of your neighbors are struggling with. While if they're here, they're relatively safe, but the reminder that certain members in their community are not able to celebrate this special time because they're more worried about surviving rather than celebrating. And especially given the last year and a half, there's a lot of heavy hearts going on. So especially if you know people who have been affected by this assault in Gaza, I would ask that you check in, tend to them, see how you can help or support, and then in the spirit of Eid, you know, try and give back to your neighbors or take care of them as best as you can.
Agreed. Oh, come on, do the thing. There it is.
And talking about stories like this is why we are demonetized. So if you want to help us continue to talk about stories such as these, you can scan the QR code that you see on your screen if you're using a smartphone, or you can go to the link that you see at the bottom of the screen there. If you're in the YouTube chat, you can type in !donate, all one word, and then the link will pop up and you will be directed to our Ko-fi page where you're able to give as little as $1 towards the network and the show. We know a lot of you are struggling right now. So the best and the free way, if you want to support us in order to continue talking about stories like these, is word of mouth. So we ask that you like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. YouTube does some shenanigans where sometimes they kick off our subscriber base. So check to make sure you're subscribed so you're able to be notified of when we go live or when we have clips that we upload. And yeah, help us get to, I say 5K, but 3K, you know, and we've been doing very well. You guys have really been subscribing, and our numbers have been growing in spite of the suppression. And thanks for watching.